Buckle up, everyone, and thank you for hopping on to another episode of the E-Ticket Talk. This is your all-access audio passport to the world of Disney parks, Disney Cruise Line, and Adventures by Disney. Whether you're a Magic Key holder, a Castaway Club cruiser, or just mapping your dream itinerary, you are in the perfect place. But we couldn't have done this without one person, or one company. One person makes this all possible, and that is our sponsor for today. That is going to be, well, does it feel like Mickey Mouse has reached into your wallet and yanked out your credit card and now is personally charging you $37.99 for a churro and a water bottle? Because I feel that every single time in Disneyland. Are you spending more time refreshing Genie Plus than actually riding Space Mountain? Well, put down the map, cancel your panic nap, and let's let effortless expeditions rescue your vacation like a monorail out of madness. E-Ticket Talk is proudly brought to you by Effortless Expeditions, a Disney-centered travel agency that turns your chaotic trip planning into a zippity-doo-dah dream. Whether you're headed to Disneyland, Disney World, or even the mystical land where your in-laws don't complain, they make the experience truly effortless. Contact them today for a free, no-obligation quote, and let them do the planning so you can do the Mickey-shaped snacking. Effortless Expeditions, everyone. All right, I am your host, Austin Bronson, and today marks a momentous occasion. For the first time, Effortless Entertainment history, someone other than Ethan, it's me, is going to be hosting the podcast. It's relatively going to be the same type of flow, but with a new captain steering the ship. I am the captain. Today, I am joined by my crewmates, Wyatt.
May I say, never have I been more excited to film a podcast after that intro than my entire life. Whenever Ethan does these intros...
This is absolutely electric, guys.
When Ethan does them, I'm like trying to stay awake halfway through them. I gotta like slap myself, I gotta keep myself entertained. But I actually want to plan a trip to Disneyland after that one.
And you guys should. You know why? Because most travel agents can actually save you money. So just get on it, guys. Get on it, everybody. And I'm also joined by Brody.
Hello, everyone. That was an amazing intro. I feel the same way. That was awesome.
I appreciate that. All right. So I know Ethan started the first E-Ticket Talk with a little, goofy little icebreaker. This one's interesting, everybody. So, what is everyone's favorite ride restraint system? Okay, so we have the lap bar, the single lap bar. We have the shared lap bar. We have the over-the-shoulder, seatbelt only, like on, my favorite ride to hear the seatbelts click, Soarin'. And we have the back restraint, which everyone, I think, hates. And nothing. I love myself a little nothing. A little, it's a small world, I'm jumping out. So what's everyone think about that?
My go-to favorite,
This is tough.
I gotta go with the shared lap bar, right? There's nothing more...
Wow.
There's nothing more personal than Disney, right? Doing that thing together, right? All these rides are about family and love. And there's nothing better than sharing a damn lap bar with your ride buddy on Big Thunder Mountain. So I got to go with shared lap bar.
Are we going for the automatic one or the one that you have to pull down?
Oh, pull down. Because you already know I'm leaving a couple of feet so that I can be sliding around on Big Thunder bumping into each other.
Yeah. You're bringing your knees up, making sure it doesn't close all the way down.
It's always a parent and their child. So then, they pull it down to their knees, and then their kid, is just not secure at all. That's how it always goes.
What about you, Brody? What's your favorite?
This is a tough one.
It is. It's kind of a crazy one.
There's something about the clicking of the over-the-shoulder. You know what I mean?
But what's your favorite click, though? Would it be on, the old... Oh, my goodness, I'm blanking on Incredicoaster or Rock and Roller Coaster. What's the other one? Is there any other
I was a
ones?
big Screamin' fan growing up.
Screamin'.
So that, when you click it one too far, and your, chest is all tight, and you're, just stuck on the ride, that was such a fun feeling. But the best, restraint ending is the Soarin' one, when you hear it click. That one's you can't get over that. That's the greatest Disney ride you'll ever find.
Still scares me. It's as a kid, I was terrified of slipping right under that. I was going to die on Soarin' over California.
I was just confused. I was like, what if you lose your shoes? What if you lose your shoes? That's the only question I was asking as a kid. I was like, what happens if your shoes fall off?
That's so funny.
So my favorite is honestly the seatbelt only. I really want one of those pull tabs, like one of the yellow tabs. I want one so bad. So that's
There you go.
That's my favorite. All right. So now that we got that out of the way, what are we doing today? So Disney rides aren't just magical. They evolve for the better and sometimes, for total chaos, as we're about to get into. Over time, beloved attractions get themed, rebuilt, or even completely reimagined, often sparking massive fan reactions. Some changes are subtle, like new animatronics or lighting. Others, full-on identity crisis. So what we're going to be talking about today is we're going to dig into the wildest glow-ups and some ride throw-ups across the Disney park history. From exploring animatronics to rides so confusing, they literally insult guests. We're covering it all. So, we are going to get into the first person who's going to enter us into this magnificent universe. Wyatt, let's hear your spiel about
Guardians of the Galaxy
Mission
Breakout. So, Tower of Terror is a staple of the Disney parks, whether it was Disneyland or Disney World. Many would agree that it was an icon of Disney. Back in 2004, Tower of Terror was built in Disneyland in Anaheim, and people instantly loved the ride. It brought this eerie kind of vibe that was very different for Disney at the time, because at the end of the day, Haunted Mansion is very campy still, it's very, family friendly. You get on Tower of Terror, and they're like, are you guys ready to die today? You want to die on this roller coaster, guys? We're going to get ready. It's going to get crazy. So, you get in there, and they're voiced by, I believe his name's Rod Sterling, the same guy who voices the Twilight Zone show, which is inspired by the ride. And I don't 100% sure if the ride does have an episode to go with it. I believe it does. I believe there is an episode that at least talks about the Hollywood Tower Hotel. So in 2004, this ride was built, and people loved it instantly. And the ride was there until about 2017, which is around when Disney bought Marvel, sorry. And, instantly, you bought one of the biggest IPs out there. They wanted to expand and bring this whole Avengers to their land. And they didn't do it in Disney World because I believe there's some sort of, zoning laws where you can't have anything Marvel on the east side of the Mississippi. So in Anaheim, California, they redid Tower of Terror, and they changed it to Guardians of the Galaxy Mission Breakout, which is the big, e-ticket ride to Avengers Campus, right? And it's a very good change in my opinion, because it goes from this ride that was very eerie and dark and creepy, and it changes it to this very vibrant, pretty much electric party ride. This ride is so much fun in my opinion when you go on it, because there's a loud music and all the different ride tracks and the fun queue. And I mean the theming is still really good, because the theming, it was this awesome hotel where it was very haunted. The lobby was amazing. You could walk through it. And all of these creepy little details. And when it goes to the Guardians of the Galaxy Mission Breakout, I would say the theming is still very, very well done. You have this whole queue with all of the collectors, little things he's collected, is all these Easter eggs to the Marvel Universe. And then you even get in the ride, and when you go down to the boiler room, where it used to be the boiler room, to get on the elevators, it's full of Marvel Easter eggs there, too. And I think this change was very controversial at the time, I believe, because, like I said, people loved Tower of Terror. It's a great ride. But I think what is really beneficial for Mission Breakout, which I think a lot of the other rides don't necessarily get to get rethemed, like, for example, Tiana's, is we still have Tower of Terror. It's just in Disney World. Where I get it sometimes, I'm lucky enough to live in California, where I can go to Disneyland often and travel to Disney World relatively often with my family trips, and I've been on both pretty often. So I love the change. I think the change is amazing. I think Mission Breakout is one of the best rides in Disney, period. What do you guys think?
Well, I like how you're saying it doesn't really fit. It does not fit in California Adventure. I do think it might fit in Hollywood Studios, though. Slightly.
Agreed.
It fits slightly. And we also link into this other slide, but this shows the theming.
Oh yeah, a little cue.
But, I think I love what you're saying. It's eerie, it's dark. It's it doesn't fit Disney's vibe whatsoever. I just don't really understand what their whole thought process was behind that.
I think at the time, it was this it was really cool to be something different and creepy and scary. But I think as Disney really tried to embrace over the time their more theming of lands, you have your Fantasyland, and then you have Avengers Campus, it kind of stuck out. It was just this scary, eerie haunted hotel right next to Bugs Land in the middle of California Adventure, in between Cars Land. So I think the theming fits a lot better now, whereas it does. I agree with Austin. It fits really well over there in Orlando.
And Disney parks used to have a really big love for old Hollywood. You see that with the Great Movie Ride overseas. So, like, not overseas, but cross country. So, like, if you go on that ride, it's like John Wayne and stuff. And it's like, that's kind of more for the grown-ups than the kids. But, yeah, I think it just is that transition, especially, like, with California Adventure, where it's just completely shifted to mainly IPs and stuff as Pixar grew. But I do think that the change was good, though. Because, like you're saying, that eerie vibe really pushed a lot of people away, especially kids.
Where people
would use that, like, switch pass, where, like, one parent goes on and then the other one goes on later. Like, I remember that being a big thing. So I think, like, at least a kid can be distracted by, like, oh, it's Guardians of the Galaxy.
I feel like
the drops aren't as crazy now.
I've seen the littlest kids get on Guardians of the Galaxy because Rocket Raccoon's out in the front of the building, like, telling them to come on in.
Right.
And even, even adults. I never went on Tower of Terror in California Adventure.
I didn't either.
I went on Guardians of the Galaxy first. Scared me a little bit.
I believe our host and
for an ice
CEO,
cream bar.
Ethan,
I
was
got
like
bribed.
19 before he went on Tower of Terror for the first time.
He might have been 20.
I
Might
got
have been
bribed.
20. You got
And-
bribed. Oh,
and-
there you go.
I did. I
That
got
dude, just
offered
the vibe,
chocolate
the
ice cream.
vibe of going to Pim's Test Kitchen and getting a espresso martini in one of those beakers and just drinking that in line, and then you and all your friends getting Guardians of the Galaxy, and then I Want You Back by the Jackson 5 is blasting as you go up and
We
down.
Want
It's just
the
like you
funk.
get off with like you get off so excited. Whereas Tower of Terror, you got off like heart racing and thrilled. But I just think like that music is so it just gets your blood pumping in such a different way than Tower of Terror would.
Oh, 100%. I also think the pre-show is so much better. Like, you're not just staring at a TV screen. It's more interactive. So I think the
Yeah.
pre-show really brings it together. It's not as scary.
And see, like I was talking to you guys before we started recording, I hadn't really been on the one in Disneyland in a long time. In Disney World, the pre-show is much more incorporated into the ride. Because I remember you guys you do the whole pre-show, you're watching the TV with the elevator and the lightning and the Twilight Zone. And then you get in and you go up, and then when it moves and the whole like cart starts moving with you, there's all like the lights and the space and like the imagery. That's like part of the pre-show, which I don't think. I believe talking to my mom, the Disneyland I don't think had that. I don't believe the Disneyland one moved.
No.
Mm-hmm.
No.
No,
But
it
and they
does
did
not.
kind of fix that here. They made it more interesting with the Rocket Raccoon animatronic,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
which makes that whole wait way more interesting.
Oh, yeah, 100%. Also, okay, so what do you guys think? Yeah, I know you guys have all been on Tower of Terror either in Disneyland or in Orlando. Do you guys think Guardians of the Galaxy is more intense? I feel like I've seen that everywhere, where Guardians of the Galaxy is by far more intense than Tower
I
of Terror.
feel like it's less intense. I feel like there's more bounce after the drops, but I don't know if it's just because that's what I remember more recently than what I do as a kid. But I don't know.
Yeah.
I think what happened. I think that because I 100% believe that the different song you get is linked to the severity of the drops. Because I don't know which song it is, but like I know that one of the Elvis songs is like especially the chill one, and it was very noticeably easier like with that song compared to one of the more intense ones. So I think Tower of Terror just didn't have that aspect. So I think now you hop on it and you get like a chiller song or two chill songs in a row. Most people don't go to Disneyland for 5 days. So maybe that's your second. You hop on it, you get the one chill song or the second chill song, and that was your one trip for the next 5 years because you know people don't go too often. So I think that might be a reason too. But I don't know. I definitely think Guardians of the Galaxy's intense songs are more intense than Tower of Terror was on average.
Yeah. And I think the other difference is you're seeing the screens. Like you're able to see the bounce of the actual machine, which I don't think you would be able to see before when it was all dark lighting and stuff. So I think it's also just like you actually can see the room moving way more since it's brighter with the screens.
Disney?
Oh, I didn't even really think about that.
Disney
So I
is
think
2
it's
for
just it was
2.
in the dark before.
2 for 2 on Guardians
2
of the
for 2.
Galaxy re-themed rides. You know, like every time they do it,
What was
it's
the
just,
other one?
Yeah, Ellen DeGeneres.
Cosmic Rewind.
That
is Ellen DeGeneres
like a full
energy.
destruction thing.
Yeah.
Wait, that was the same building was the same ride system, right?
No.
I don't even know
I
if
think
the
it was
building
just the same
stayed.
building. It might not even
Oh,
been.
okay, I
It
was
might
gonna
have
say,
been.
that's a crazy ride
It might
system.
have just been
I
in
don't
the
know.
same area of
It's
the
not
park.
the same ride system.
No, it
It
was
was like
like
a huge
okay.
theater and then a slow ride with dinosaurs and Bill Nye.
Mm. Well, okay, so since we're in the little Marvel universe land, I feel like the wait time for Spider-Man is sometimes even longer than Guardians of the Galaxy. I don't understand that at all. Do you guys even enjoy that ride?
I hate that ride.
I feel like it's good, like once a trip, maybe even just like once in your life. I'd never have to go on that ride again.
What was the other ride you said?
Spider-Man.
The spider, what is that? The Spider-Man ride? What is that one
slingers?
called?
Oh, gotcha.
Web
Web
Warriors.
Slingers.
I don't know.
Web Warriors.
Yeah, I think it sucks.
Uh,
It's too.
100%.
The most fun I've ever had on that ride is when it was me, Ethan, and my sister, and it was just three of us in a cart, and we were like, hey, let's go really slow and just kind of look at stuff and like aim. Because if you aim, you can trigger so many cool like environmental effects
Okay.
within the ride. But when you're just shooting your arms around like a crazy person and everything's exploding, you can't really notice anything. But when Ethan was like doing it really slow, first of all, it was hilarious. And also it was fun. Like you actually got to like interact with the ride more. You could kind of see things better. But then like yeah, I don't know. It's usually a very very long wait for I don't know a crap ride.
just to make your arms
Absolutely not, is
tired.
it?
Just to make your arms tired.
Yeah, and it's also not even like close to like how Toy Story makes you feel. Like there's actually skill. I feel like you can make it on the leaderboard if you just have, if you have a lot of endurance to shoot your legs.
And
I think because
you don't
that
even know
has
how the
less
scoring
effects
works.
going on. Yeah.
I don't even know how the scoring works. All I know is the
Green
green
bug,
ones I think
red
give you a
bug.
little more. Yeah. I don't know if red bug's better than green bug. I don't know if gold bug better than
Gold
red
bug gotta
I
be
don't
the
know.
best
And then
bug.
Big Bug.
Well, obviously, okay.
Best bug.
Big bug
Big
is
bug.
obviously the best one, and then I think it has to be the gold bug because it's gold.
So is like the big bug the equivalent to the end of Toy Story where you just have that one thing and you just got to keep going until your arms fall off?
Right. Except
that
it
the
doesn't
equivalent?
have the number system. The thing on Toy Story is you see the number raising.
I remember one
Thing
time
is happening.
at the end of
It's a
Toy
big bug,
Story,
it doesn't make sense.
I game played with my sister. I was like, "Yo, you shoot my target so it goes up faster, so I get more points." But it didn't work, and I really thought I was gonna break the
We used to
game.
do that all the time.
Like I was like, "Oh, I really thought I was gonna crack it."
And a little backstory here. Brody and his entire family
Mhm.
are just extremely good at Toy Story Midway Mania. Like,
Back
what do
in
you
the
average?
day.
Like 300,000-400,000?
I haven't made it to 400.
What's your highest ever? Do you have a picture of your highest ever? We should add it in post. You should throw it up.
I think it was like 330. I think that's it.
That's insane.
I haven't gotten anywhere near 350 or 400,000.
Well, like, don't your parents get like 500? Like, what's their top score?
My mom was the highest scoring female player that we knew of. There's this other family that was really good back in the day,
crazy, dude.
and they would go on the first of the month every month and set the score for the month, and you couldn't change it. It was this family that used to go, but
That's insane.
yeah, I don't know what the exact scores were. It was super long ago, but I think my highest right now is like 330.
I one time saw Austin put
That's
up
crazy.
9999999 in Astro Blasters. That was impressive.
I've done that multiple times.
He hit like
I am
I've
so
never
good
gotten
at
a good
Astro
score on
Blasters.
Astro Blasters. I will say.
he hit like one target.
Maybe
and
I should
make a
gave
little
him all
video.
the points, but whatever, To each their own.
You know what? Maybe I should make a little video, maybe a little YouTube short of how to get to 99999. You know what? It's not that hard. It's not that hard. Well, if no one has any last thoughts on Guardians of the Galaxy Mission Breakout,
Wait.
we'll
We
continue.
should all decide. Is it what'd you say at the beginning? A glow up or a throw up?
Is this a glow up or a throw up?
I give it a stamp of a glow up. I think it's a great ride, and I think it's as good. I think it's amazing because Tower of Terror was fantastic, and this is somehow better. Glow up. Boom! Boom! Boom!
I think it's
I
a
think-
glow up for now. It depends
now.
on the spooky vibe before was always going to be spooky. So I'm interested to see how this ages with Guardians aging and Marvel aging over time.
Well, I feel like Disney's not really concerned with aging, dude. I mean, they just throw in IP after IP that's old.
I also-
as,
I know, but
you know.
I just like to think about that long term.
Dude,
Because like,
you
we're
throw in
seeing
like a
whole
Christmas
episodes
song,
change
and this
over
ride's
time.
even better. Rocking around the Christmas tree,
Such
throwing on some
facts.
Christmas hats, fire. The Monster Mash, it's Halloween
Brenda Lee would
themed.
sing
Oh
the
my god,
song.
that'd be awesome.
Do they do that?
No, I know in Disney World
Oh.
they
They should.
I think Disney World they did a Christmas song for Cosmic Rewind. It was like something with Rocket Raccoon and reindeer. We missed it. We missed it on our trip, Boston, by like 1 week, and I was really excited because I didn't want it to be Christmas time. For like the only time we went on it.
Yeah, that is true. All right, guys. So that was perfect. I give it definitely for surely a glow up, 100%. The only thing I have to say is when I was in Orlando, they have way, way, way better merchandise for Tower of Terror, like little hats, little robes. Like, man, that stuff's awesome. That's the stuff I was talking about in the last episode. You guys should go check that out for sure. But 100%, definitely a glow up. All right, so for mine, I don't know if you guys can see this if you're listening, or maybe my shirt's way too faded. It might be. I am wearing a purple shirt, and that is because we're going to be talking about this little purple dragon, Figment. Now, when I was doing research for this, holy moly, does Figment have so much controversy around it, which you guys are about to see. And it looks like our CEO of Effortless Expeditions and Effortless Entertainment has just
What is he doing?
the chat.
What are you doing here, CEO?
How's it going, everybody?
What are you doing?
Just got done with the work meeting. You probably can't see me. I'm frozen right now. That doesn't help the production value.
Well, that's fantastic. Any words, CEO, for the viewers out there?
No, thank you for tuning in. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. I hope Austin isn't doing a terrible job as hosting the show. I just wanted to stop it. You may continue on with your normal briefing.
All right, guys. So we're going to get into the journey into imagination, and as we're going to see, this is going to evolve substantially. Okay. So this ride was originally opened in 1938. I wrote it wrong.
Do they even know?
1983, guys.
Oh
my apologies, everybody.
I was like, they didn't even know what imagination was in 1938. That's
I
crazy.
think we were still in a war in 1938.
Yeah, we were. I think we're in World War II, baby. I don't know. I'm a Disney podcaster. I'm a historian.
Yeah, the Imagineer is definitely not alive in 1938. I think his name's Tony Baxter. I don't know if that means anything to anybody. It doesn't mean a single thing into me. So
I've seen Tony
so
Baxter. He's a cool guy.
Really?
My dad went to high school with Tony Baxter.
What?
Oh, wow. Okay.
That's insane. You topped me, dude. I was gonna say.
Okay, so in this first phase, I bet a lot of our viewers have never been on this ride, me included. I was not born. I don't think anyone. Yeah, no one was born to see this ride. But there was this thing called Little Dream Finder. There was a guy with a nice little hat, nice little beard. He had a Dream Finder. I don't really know how you call it. Maybe a vehicle, a spaceship, something. And he collects sparks of inspiration. Okay. So Figment is like a childlike purple dragon, all right, and he was created by the Dreamfinder to explore the imagination. So the ride features scenes of like art, science, literature, music, yada yada yada. But oh my goodness, this was the beginning of one of the, I will say, one of the best songs I think Disney has ever came out with. One little spark of inspiration is at the heart of all creation. So good. What are you guys' thoughts on this song before we continue?
That song is on par with Great Big Beautiful Tomorrow. That is one of those all-time greats. You know what I mean?
It's so good, yeah.
It just gives you memories of fart spray, skunk spray.
Oh, yeah. We're going to get into that skunk spray very soon.
I know.
So, okay. When everyone introduced Figment, fans just love this guy. And you know what? I wasn't brought up with Figment. I think I maybe really noticed him when I was like 3 or 4 years ago, honestly, where I really was like, oh, Figment's pretty cool. People just love Figment. And, like, they sell his popcorn buckets for, like, man. Again, Mick Mouse is just taking your credit card and just swiping it, okay? People just love that thing. And he kind of just became the little unofficial mascot of Epcot. And that's where we come into the second phase of Journey. But this one is different. This isn't just Journey into imagination. This is Journey into your imagination. And you know what? Apparently, this was one of the worst fiascos Disney has ever done in their entire life. And you were about to see why. Okay, so Kodak's and Disney both, sponsored this. So the new Kodak. It's
the camera? Okay, I know what it is.
Yeah.
I thought you said Codex. No, Kodak.
Yeah.
Okay.
Film kid.
Yeah, I know
Kodak.
what a camera is.
Why that's super. Yeah,
Kodak
I mean,
Black.
they put it
Who
everywhere.
sponsored it?
Yeah, Kodak Black sponsored this.
Wow.
So, instead of refurbishing the original ride, they just, basically just scrapped that thing. And in the new ride, they removed Dreamfinder and reduced Figment to 2 cameos. Now, that is very important. Figment is only in here twice. So, if you guys ride the original ride, Figment is in there the entire time. Figment is in your face. And fans hated this. And they just took all their hatred out on Dr. Nigel Channing. So, he was somehow tied in the Honey, I Shrunk the Kids. I don't know. But, basically, you're told your imagination sucks, okay? And he gives you, like, one little bit. The right time is just cut in half, and there's no one little spark. No one little spark. So it's just mostly black rooms and loud noises, okay? And let's just get into this. I was searching the web, and I was like, okay, what did people really think about this? I read one article, and everyone's just yapping about how terrible it is. I found a 3,000-word Reddit post, and I'm going to read just a snippet of this. Okay, so reaction from fans from this update was less than positive. In fact, Journey into Your Imagination was nearly unanimously considered the single worst ride to ever come out of Disney Imagineering. Fans despised the loss of Dreamfinder and Figment in favor for the bland Nigel Channing character, and negatively compared it to a wacky funhouse you'd find at a county fair. End quote. I cannot believe all of this. Like, that is insane. Really. That's just crazy. Again, this slide is also wrong. This is from 1999 to 2001. This lasted 2 years. That's my bad, guys. I'm hosting
the listeners won't know.
2001. Such a bad year for things. First we lose.
Yeah, such a terrible thing.
We lose Journey to Your Imagination. Really terrible.
And then some unspeakable things.
Bad
happen.
year.
Why it's born that year is just terrible.
I was
terrible
1 year
year
after, but it's all right. Close.
Oh yeah. My apologies. Same day, if you guys know what we're talking about. But anyways, this lasted 2 years, and I just feel bad for my boy Dr. Nigel. They just kind of canned Figment, and Figment's really grown on me. So now we get into present day. This is when Disney figures out what in the world is going on. After the massive backlash forced Disney to bring out Figment, which Kodak is still involved in, a little bit of history here. Figment returns, but now he's hyper, he's mischievous, he's just kind of just wacky, It's still hosted by Dr. Channing, okay? And you know what? People love him now. It's just because of Figment. It's just kind of Figment, but still no Dreamfinder, which is okay. So, but after all this happens, everything's kind of different. We explore your imagination. We explore the senses. You get blast air. You get fart jokes. And you get, fart jokes. And you get that guy on the moon. I think, what's his, Eric something? You get that dude on the moon. I don't know what his name is. But before, this was just widely disliked. Many fans compared it to a cheap Figment theme prank, apparently. So now we get into the final phase. I just got a little intro to what this final phase is that was kind of just in between 2001 and 2002. So the ride remains open till now. There's low wait times. People kind of just don't care about it. The interactive areas are also broken. I did not know there's interactive areas until I researched this. Mm-hmm. What in the world is interactive areas?
Yeah,
that's kind of
I
crazy.
remember when
once you got off
on this ride, it was like 2010. I would say 2010. And there's hella people in the interactive areas, dude. My sister loves Figment. It's like
really?
Figment is my sister's favorite Disney character.
Ep.2 was huge with interactive stuff at the time. Like when you get off of Mission Space, that whole room, when they added all the interactive stuff in there, that was a huge thing. There was a skeleton thing.
Interactive
but
prototype.
This ride had like a music thing. Yeah, and then this one had like, I remember it's like the box with like the sensors, kind of like similar how Spider-Man works, but based on where your hand was on the sensor, it'd play a different note. And on the screen, it would have like Figment playing an instrument, and you could control what note was playing. So just had small things like that.
Did you ever get to experience that, Brody, firsthand?
Yeah. Oh, no, totally.
Oh, that's pretty sick. That is pretty. When was the last time? When was that even working?
I didn't know it wasn't working but I mean, I can't remember the last time I've been on this ride. It had to have been a few years ago, just because I think the only time I've gone over there is for the Pixar shorts in the theater next to it. Yeah, I don't know. It was probably like 5 years ago at least.
And not all fans are on the same page of Figment and loving Figment. You know, I was scrolling through Reddit, and this guy Eric calls Figment, quote, that animated little funky guy, but it's not funky guy. Starts with an F, but
Dude.
it's not funky guy.
Eric for hating on Figment. Bleep me out in post,
Facts.
Ethan.
Dude,
I
right.
just used my
I'm
one of
editing
the
this one
episode.
because I'm the captain
Okay,
now.
hell yeah.
He's just mad he's
Hey
not a
man, no
dragon man.
CEO. We can say whatever we want.
That's fact.
Who's gonna tell on us?
And I would... Not me for sure. So I want to bring to everyone's attention who is actually watching this, whatever is in the middle of your screen, that's actually Disney IP. That is the creepiest little Figment. What in the world is
Guess
that?
he has jaundice, bro, in his eyes.
Yeah, he has bright yellow eyes.
liver's
This dude looks
failing.
like he's high. He's got alcoholism.
What
you know?
happened to
I would
Spyro?
too if they dragged me through the gutter the way Disney's dragged through Figment. He probably had a couple crash
Right.
outs along the way. I don't blame the guy.
Isn't he still like a reoccurring character at one of the Epcot things? Like one of the festivals they do? Isn't
Yeah.
he like the sponsor of one of those?
Like how they have like Orange
I forget
Bird
which one it
slapped
is.
around everything.
It's not the Food and Wine Festival. It's one of the different ones. I don't know if it's the Garden one, but I'm pretty sure Epcot still has him as a pretty prominent character.
He does
during
meet and
one of
greets.
those.
He does meet and greets. But there's one last thing I want to talk about Figment. And this happened in 2002. Man, what in the actual world was going through people's minds? There was 6+ hour wait lines for popcorn buckets of Figment. What in the world? I don't understand. I genuinely do not get that. It's a popcorn bucket. I
bandwagon.
get it. Yeah, I get some people want to collect them, but what? I don't know. Would you guys wait in that line for a little Figment popcorn? Like, where's the line? Like, oh, okay, you know, there's 30 people in front of me. This will take like 30-ish minutes. Where's your guys' line here?
Dude, I'm paying for another
We're not
popcorn
gonna get
bucket.
I don't know. I'm not a big
Yeah,
popcorn bucket guy.
Dude, we
But
just
I
buy
think-
them
I
and
don't
my
know if
dad
the
carry them the
interest-
whole trip.
I don't know if the interest for Figment is because he's like a park-centric character.
I think
You
it's
know what I
because
mean?
he's
like
like
you're not gonna see any merchandise.
he's like the
that's,
cool,
not
different
about the
character,
park.
you know. It's like, well, I like Figment. It's like saying
Yeah.
you're an Oswald,
Oh,
the
I'm
Lucky
niche.
Rabbit. Yeah, you're like I like Oswald, the Lucky
Yeah.
Rabbit. I like Figment.
Right.
I'm different.
All right.
I'm different. Like, shut up,
Oh,
dude.
Okay.
man, you mean?
There's-
Shut up, Eric.
I really like Oswald.
Oswald's,
Right?
Oswald's
I
a
really like
vibe.
Oswald.
Oswald's a vibe. Oswald's a vibe.
Oswald
But
is
people
such a
that go
vibe.
out of their way
Why is Figment in a
to
tracksuit?
act like it's a big deal.
Because it's
Because-
Christmas. That's Christmas.
Oh,
Figment,
it's
I
a
believe.
Christmas tracksuit? That's fire, actually. I take that back.
Yeah, so like normally he's holding so like in the sound booth he's normally holding a yellow phone, but and during Christmas times he holds a red phone. So, you know.
Nice.
I doubt
Talking
they
to the
make that
president
change
on
anymore.
the phone.
There's no way.
Yeah, I also don't.
Apparently
I'm with
they
Brody.
do.
I don't think they changed it
Apparently they
Do
anymore.
they still do it?
Okay, well maybe it was Photoshop. I just took these off Google Image.
One
but,
time, I ate a whole
love the
chocolate
Figment
bar
ride.
on Figment one time. From start to finish, I ate a whole...
How...
You were there, Austin.
But like, how big was it?
You were
How big
there. It was one of those big Mickey ones. I ate the whole thing. It really hurt my stomach, dude. Is there a picture on
I
Figment?
How
Figment
long-
needs a picture.
Figment does need a picture.
There want a
I
picture
think,
in the
like,
drop.
when
E-ticket
we-
ride.
Right?
Dude, can we just talk about how that last little scene is literally... I don't do drugs, guys. But like, it's like you're going through an
Boom.
acid.
Acid trip.
What in the
Crazy.
world is going
I was-
on?
Ever since
It's
you
your
started talking about
imagination.
this, I was thinking about, like, I've never understood that fake out. You're in a room, there's no way that they drop, like, the curtains or do whatever they do that quick in
That's
that final
perfect.
room. You just hear a loud noise, you're caught off guard, and then you're in, like, this crazy, there's, like, I don't even know, isn't there tons of little dragons like
Yeah, it's
Figment?
just hundreds. Yeah, it's a ton of
Like, playing the
animals.
harps and stuff? Like, it's, I don't know, that's one of the things that scared me as a kid. It's like the train on Toad's Wild Ride. Like,
Okay,
oh my
well,
gosh,
since you brought up the
loud
I
walls,
want to listen to that song now.
I'm gonna make a crazy claim here. Okay, guys, a crazy claim. Okay.
Okay.
Figment paved the way for Cosmic Rewind. Because those walls drop in Cosmic Rewind, correct? Am I correct? Right? Remember when you're in that room?
Yes, they
Cosmic
do.
Rewind?
They do. They do in the pre-show.
They do. Figment
Yeah.
paved the way, guys. So Figment is
Oh,
Disney
yeah.
World.
Very similar cart system. Look at that.
You
How long
know,
do we
it's-
think Figment has
Forever.
as an
They-
attraction?
It's withstood the
Apparently-
test of time. It's not going nowhere.
Like,
And I mean, it's like we take all these, like Disney fans would be just, you know, they would be so electrified by this, they would probably burn down the park.
Not Eric.
You know? So
would they though?
definitely not
Eric
Eric.
would rejoice.
He would
Right.
rejoice.
What would they
in
replace it
the
with?
burning
Nothing?
Of Disney World.
I don't know. It's just like when you're over there, you just like know you're in like old Disney. Like you look at the old like pavilions and stuff, and like you can't even like I don't know what Horizons looked like. I don't know what all these old attractions looked like. But when you're in this section of the park specifically, or like after it, you're like you kind of do get the idea of like what that might have been like. So it's like I don't know. It is outdated, obviously, but it's just I don't know when they'll make the change.
But like, I don't. It fits in Epcot sort of, just because Epcot's just a bunch of random things thrown together.
Dude,
Like,
Figment is
I don't
Epcot.
like
But
what.
it's IPs. They got to get rid of they got to have more IPs. We'll have
But,
a
like,
Groot
they
ride.
What could they change? I mean, really, what could they change?
It could be
And
about
we
Figment.
have the World Showcase.
Some Fantastic Four. Boom.
No. They
They're
take
just
that
gonna
whole
replace it one
pyramid
day,
up there
overnight.
and they scrap the whole inside of the pyramid, and the ride's about Figment getting clean after he's hooked on drugs from his Disney downfall.
Wow.
Wow. You know, he
That-
didn't. You know, it's just
Journey
because he
into
didn't.
your addiction.
No, journey into
That's what that would be.
your rehabilitation.
Right?
Yep.
There you
I gotta write that down for Park Attacks Epcot episode. No one take that.
Mm,
That's good. That's
I
good.
gotta put it.
That's nice.
Journey into your rehabilitation. I'll write that down.
Figment just
No.
didn't use a travel agent. You know, when he went to Epcot and he spent so much money, he got into a little addiction.
Yes,
So that's why you guys have to. use
That's why you should use
expeditions,
effortless
Back in-
expeditions. You don't end up like Figment with jaundice
Right.
living in Epcot.
Back in 1930 something.
Like in 1938.
Yeah. Alrighty, guys. So we're gonna get into the next one, and this one is gonna be presented by Brody. So Brody, let's get into it. Oh wait. Before we go, was this a glow up or a throw up, everybody?
Glow up, smash.
Glow up from something that we don't even understand. Like I don't even know what the old ride was. So
Me
I
either.
have to say
I give
glow
it a
up.
glow up.
Glow up.
Oh, 100%.
It's so much
I mean,
better than it was in the 1930s.
I mean, you get to go through an acid trip without doing acid.
Absolutely.
I mean, what more could you ask for?
True. It's got the old Disney trippy charm.
100%. All right, Brody, take us through your glow up or throw up here.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, you know me as the Star Wars specialist on all this stuff. We got the posters in the background, and I'm wearing my Star Tours jacket because that's what we're gonna be talking about. I mean, we got the full Star Tours shebang going on over here. All right. So, but to talk about Star Tours, we first must talk about Adventure Through Inner Space. Okay, so this is at the Disneyland one, obviously. So it opened in 1967. Oh,
Wait,
we
let's
got a
answer
question in
Wyatt's
the back?
question here. Yeah,
I had
got
no
a lot
idea
of
this was a
questions.
thing.
I
No
always
idea. No
thought
idea.
There might be something there because it's so quick into Tomorrowland, but I never
This looks
researched
hella
why.
cool. I'm excited to listen. I'm
In
excited.
this picture, I had seen a picture of this room before, but I always thought that this was that spot above Space Mountain. You know when Space Mountain has that queue area above the arcade?
Mm-hmm.
I always thought that that's where this was.
This was
But
cool.
this is actually where the Star Tours boarding room kind of
Okay,
is.
sorry. No, I had no
So
idea.
anyway,
Yeah, continue.
opened in
That's crazy.
1967, and it was about shrinking and you go into a snowflake. We were big on space exploration and all this science stuff at the time, so that's what we were exploring there. And it ended up getting close. Oh, it was sponsored by Monsanto, so we had a lot of sponsors going on at this time. And it was the same people that made the House of the Future attraction.
Oh, I remember that.
You remember that?
Yeah, I saw that
So
when I
it's
was
the same
really
people
young.
that sponsored that, right? And it was educational, but you get into around mid-1980s, and Disney wanted a more teen adult audience to reach out to. So it closed in 1985. And with the first Star Wars trilogy complete, it was immensely popular. Okay, so George made this deal. It was the same time they were making the deal for him to write and produce Captain EO. Okay, so same time with obviously Michael Jackson. So this was the first intellectual property ride that was not Disney, because they had done sponsors before. They hadn't done like full-on IPs.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Wait, so Disney didn't own Star Wars when they came out with Star Tours?
No,
Yeah, I
they
always
didn't own
forget
it
that.
until.
Really?
Yeah, they didn't own it until way later. When they were doing Star Wars Weekend, Star Wars Hoopla, all that in Florida, they did not own Star Wars. And now they own Star Wars, and they don't do anything for Star Wars.
Yeah.
Other than like the.
Because I remember
like, they
doing
used to do all that Star Wars
it was
celebration.
I remember doing Star Tours, and then the Jedi. I don't know if you two remember the Jedi Academy thing.
The Jedi training.
Yeah, I remember when I was
Oh,
really
that
young.
was
Marlon
I was really young when I did that, so they didn't even own Star Wars back then.
Which was awesome. But yeah. So anyway, they had the first Star Wars trilogy complete, immensely popular. So they had this whole deal with George, because George always had an interest in Tomorrowland, and kind of always thought that he could upgrade that place a little bit. So Tomorrowland was making a shift towards more sci-fi stuff with this. So they were like, okay, we had this idea for a motion simulator ride. It was for another ride concept, but George saw it when he was touring the Disney like Imagineer Studios, and he was like, ooh, I kind of like that idea, because they were able to change it. They could change it as the ride grew and went on. Okay? So it was motion control miniatures by ILM, so the whole ride was miniatures. It wasn't CGI. Like obviously there were effects and stuff, but not like they are now. And it was, the whole ride was a trip to Endor. Did you guys ever ride this version of the ride? The first version of Star Tours?
Mm-mm.
No. When was it?
Wait.
Like, when did it like close to the new one? Like,
Closed
when did it update?
2011.
Wait,
Actually,
No.
There was no screens?
Closed 2010. What are you talking about?
You said there was no screens? It was all like practical, moving?
No, it was a screen, but the video that you were watching was miniatures, like in the original trilogy.
Gotcha.
It wasn't CGI. So that's why it would always like
2010.
pan over the stars, and that's where they would cut the footage. And they said it was like really complicated to do. And as complicated as the
I'm
stuff
trying
in the
to
movies,
think.
because they didn't make it look like one shot.
I'm trying to think. I
They
might
had
have.
Captain Rex
If I
from
went
the
on it, I
cockpit.
don't remember it. But I probably have been. I probably went
All
to
right,
Disney
well, I'll
World
talk
within
about
that
it
time
more.
period.
You might remember it as I go on. So you were on a trip to Endor, okay? Because Return of the Jedi had just came out, and on your way there, you hit a frozen comet kind of field. It's kind of like an asteroid field, but it's all giant ice spurts and stuff, right? Which is interesting because the original snowflake thing from the previous ride. And then you go through the ice thing, and then when you come out of it, you get pulled into a tractor beam by a Star Destroyer, okay? And X-Wing teams show up, and they guide you, and you make your way towards the first Death Star. So originally this was supposed to be after the movies, because of the Endor stuff, but then they said, we want to do something from the movies that people know. You go into the Death Star. Okay, so you're dropped into the trench sequence, and there's an X-Wing in front of you, presumably Luke Skywalker. We don't know. This is kind of like a void outside of the movies. You don't hear anybody from the movies talk. But he drops proton torpedoes, and when watching the footage, which they released like a few years ago at Star Wars Celebration of the original ride, the proton torpedoes he drops are green. In the movie, they're purple. I don't know why they're green on Star Tours. It was interesting to me. Just because.
Wait,
it's
so
the
Bertie,
same team
you actually
working.
rode the original ride?
Absolutely, that's where I got this, dude.
Now that
wow,
I also
Great,
went on the
dude.
original too. I remember it now that I
Okay.
remember getting guided by the X-wings to.
Oh yeah,
blow
and
up the
it was
trench
great.
run.
It was so much fun, but it had like this weird look to it because you're obviously not in like first person for many shots in the original trilogy. So to see miniatures like at your scale, the perspective was really weird. Like it worked, but anyway, they had this. You can go to the next photo. I keep forgetting to tell you the next photo. And the next photo is the opening. Okay, so these have lines back to Main Street, dude. Like out of Main Street, dude. This was insane because Star Wars was just so huge at this time.
Back when people cared.
Okay.
Yeah.
And right? in the
do you think
opening sequence.
This ride was longer, like the wait time when it originally opened was longer than when Space Mountain originally opened? Because I remember that Space Mountain's like ride line went like all the way
I
to
don't
like.
know.
Well, you said it opened
Opening
when,
part.
Brody? It opened 19 what? 80 what? 83?
This opened. I don't have the original ride time actually. But if the original closed in like 85, I would
Yeah,
have to
like, dude, I don't know. I
assume
feel like
close
this ride
after.
coming up like right after Return of the Jedi would have insane wait times.
Oh yeah, just absolutely
87.
electric, man.
Yeah, dude, I
It
feel
was
like this
87.
crazy wait times. Hours. 9 hours.
Yeah, also, back to the ride. When you drop the proton torpedo, you get out of there with the X-Wings, you don't see the Death Star blow up. Like, the one, like, satisfying thing, it's not there. You just go back to the spaceport. You just drop the bomb, and then you're out. You don't even hear the explosion. It's, like, completely off screen.
Man,
So it's fun.
That's disappointing.
But anyway, so they had this big opening ceremony. It was like C-3PO. They did like tons of promotional with, I think Eisner was who was running it at the time. And they cut the ribbon with a lightsaber. It was like a weird dance thing because Disney was doing dances in all their parades and stuff. So it's like Leia and Han doing a ballet dance and stuff. But anyway, the ride opens and people were like loving this. Because like you have to think like all the other rides you were moving through. This is the first ride where you're in like something that's like shaking and turning with the ride. This is like completely new. Anyway, so you had Paul Rubin, Pee Wee Herman as the voice for Rex, the pilot, who was awesome at the time. We had the little, if I can get him out of here, I don't even know if I can. We got little Rex here.
The
He was
new
the pilot at
bartender.
the time.
Is
And
he a
now he is the bartender in Ep.2,
Yeah,
which is
that's
awesome that
just
they've kept him around.
Gets me so hyped to go, into, was it Sutuli's Canteen? Am I correct?
It's Oga's
Oh, yeah,
Cantina.
Olga's.
Oh,
Olga's.
wait, what's Sutuli? Is that the Avatar?
Yeah, Thule. Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah, something like that.
But yeah, and then when you're in that bar, you can sometimes hear him glitch, and he'll say "light speed to Endor," which is a line from this original thing. And it's really cool now because Paul Rubin has passed away, so it's cool that he got to come back and do the parks, and now he's still in the bar, which is awesome.
Well, yeah, that's really interesting. I mean, I never really noticed that, so you must spend a lot of time in Olga's Canteen.
Hey, you know me, dude. That Jabba juice, man.
Oh,
But
Fuzzy Tauntaun.
moving those ride vehicles in, right? But the ride vehicles moving in was like apparently super risky, just because they were super duper heavy, and they had to move them in through the top, and like they were really worried about something going wrong, but then it didn't. But anyway, so Star Tours was built to change. Okay, so George was like, it's software, it's not hardware. We can just change the video, change the programming. You can improve this forever. But the original was so popular that they didn't want to close it and refurbish it. So it went for 2 decades. It was originally supposed to be just a short thing. A few years, then they would change the video. It went for over 2 decades. Okay?
Wow.
So, or I guess 2 decades. But anyway, 1998. We are cutting to a George Lucas working on the Star Wars prequels. And he goes to Disney and he shows them the pod racing sequence in the works. And he goes, hey, we can revamp the ride. We can make it about pod racing. Okay? And Disney was like, this is cool. So they worked on it, concept art. The goggles, the 3D goggles were going to change to look like Anakin's goggles, like from Phantom Menace when he's pod racing. So it was going to be
that
sick,
would have been so cool.
which is like so fascinating. But apparently they were like, well, you're still making 2 more movies. Like, what if you make something better the next movie? They were just like, we'll wait until the second movie. Oh, but you're doing a third movie. We'll wait until the third movie. Okay? So they finally get around to working it, like later on. Okay? So they talk about the ride matrix, which you know how Star Tours like switches what ride you're going on. So you go to this planet, then this planet, and it'll switch and then it'll randomize it. So like this will make this ride super re-rideable. Okay? And there's a list of the original planets we were going to get. We got most of them. We didn't get Utapau, which is where Grievous is in Episode 3, but you were going to be going through the lizard chase sequence, which would have been interesting. There's Megiddo, Felucia, which are both sequences we see during Order 66. There wasn't much to do there. I think that's why they didn't do that. People wouldn't recognize those. But Mustafar would have been awesome. And I can't believe we didn't get Mustafar. Because that would have been like...
Can we get a little... What's
super
Mustafar, just for people who don't
Lava
know?
Planet, Anakin Evil. Lava Planet would have been so cool on the ride. But anyway, that got cut off the list. 2008, George is over here working on the Clone Wars, and he gets the animations for what these new Star Tours rides would be for these new planets, and he approves of them. Star Tours closes in 2010. That was in July. And they're working on making the new ride. And they're still going with this idea that there's going to be a new pilot. His name was Ace. Do you know that pilot that's in there before C-3PO walks in? And he's like, hey, you're not supposed to be here. I'm the captain. Like on the video.
Yeah.
Remember that guy? So he was going to be voiced by Patrick Warburton, who we know from Soren and Buzz Lightyear Adventures of Star Command.
That
He'd be
would
like,
not
hey,
work
welcome
out
to
very
Star
well.
Tours.
That'd be
It's
so
gonna be
funny.
great. Right? Star Tours. Thank you for flying.
I'm
He was
thinking out of my
supposed to be
head
more
right
like
now.
a Top
I
Gun
really wish we
Maverick.
had that.
Right? So he was supposed to
Really?
be more like Top Gun, kind of like, oh, he's the ace pilot. You know what I mean? We had the scared pilot before. And Rex in the old one was going to be a veteran of the Clone Wars, too, before we ever saw Clone Wars stuff. So that's why you're going to get in all these situations. But yeah, so Patrick Warburton was on the project. But George did not like the idea of the pilot, okay? And we're like a year away from release, right? So like at D23 2010, they're still like, we're releasing it with this new droid. But George is like, I don't like that. And they got to listen to George. So anyway, they switch it to C-3PO. So C-3PO ends up bumbling onto the ride, right? Which I think is way better because everyone knows C-3PO.
I agree.
But anyway, Disney couldn't find the original safety lady from the video, so they replaced her with that robot that we see now. The little, like, waitress droid-looking one from Attack of the Clones.
Like
She's
the little
like, thank you
bye-bye.
for flying Star Tours.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.
Yeah.
Right? That's why we got
That's everyone's
her.
favorite part of the ride.
It's amazing. That's another great seatbelt button click.
Oh,
Right?
yeah,
When you're getting off of that. That one's amazing. Yeah, so there's a new pre-show in that main room. Like, obviously, when you walk in and you hear the Star Tours, like, amazing sound, it's like, Journey to Naboo. They have great culture, and it's, like, playing all the video.
Yeah.
And they had that new red and white starship. So this one, the white and blue, got replaced with the new white and red one. Okay?
Huge
So then Patrick
change.
Warburton, they bring him back. He's the second inspection droid. So you remember with that last bend, like last bend after they check the bags, and you're like by the security thing. It's like that scan thing that shows you all red and thermal.
Yeah.
Patrick Warburton is the guy up there who's like, hey, haven't I seen you before? Blah blah blah. He's like saying all that stuff. So they did keep him on the ride. So anyway, now we get to today. Star Tours, the updating thing worked that George had been talking about. And I keep forgetting to tell you.
No,
But
you're good.
You can go to the next one now. That's just the room. That
The
we
new
know
red
now.
ride vehicle, guys.
Dude, the inside of
It's
this,
great,
the
dude.
inside of the queue is so freaking cool. Like it's like it's always so
It's
hot
so
outside,
good.
and it's just so dark and well lit, and just so like I don't know. It's hard to explain if you haven't been on it. It's just the vibe is so perfect in there. Like the music is great. They have the whole like
The
ship.
lights.
The ship is cool with C-3PO and R2 just talking outside. Like as a Star Wars fan, it's just I could just stand in there and like just walk around.
And they have
Oh,
the
yeah.
people up in the board. And the videos, like, work. I think that's the one thing that, like... Or the animatronic droids in the beginning. I think the Millennium Falcon could use, like... In that first stair room in the Millennium Falcon, they could use, like, one animatronic. And I don't know if they don't do it because the walkway's above. If it would be a risk for the animatronics. Or what. But I don't know. It's just interesting. I do love the
Well,
queue for Star Tours.
Yeah, I think, I don't know. Honestly, I'm not saying Rise of the Resistance line is not better. I'm saying that I'd rather be in the Star Tours line than the Rise of the Resistance line.
Definitely.
just-
Instead of a cave, a hot cave with 30 other people in each corner.
I was
Like the
passed out
whole
that
the
line.
whole queue experience is better than the Rise of the Resistance experience ride queue, right?
I would
I
say.
mean,
Yeah, but it's also always shorter.
There's more stuff to see.
Like it's always shorter.
yeah, that is true.
Guaranteed. But
And
and then there's also Rex. They moved Rex to the queue.
Yeah,
So like they kind of just said forget all the time period stuff. Rex is just in maintenance. So you can still see him glitching and saying his voice lines, even though he's in Batu. they kind of just experience, like, are outside of each other. It was cool. But anyway, so nowadays, George's idea works. They're still updating the ride every now and then. We got updates for the sequel movies. We're getting updates for the Disney Plus shows now. We got Andor holograms. We got the whales with Ahsoka.
That one is so cool. When I first saw that, I was like,
cool.
wow.
How long have they had that one?
It's so awesome. Since
2
Ahsoka,
years?
so 2022.
Oh, so I should have
2023.
seen it. I just haven't. I don't think I've got that one.
Yeah, I mean, how many different different worlds are there? Like, how many different, like, I don't know.
There is
varieties?
a lot, but I don't know. I could have sworn when they add something new, they bump up its frequency. Because I remember
really?
going on, like, for a long time after the sequels came out, you would just get, or at least I would get mainly Jakku and then Crate.
I would always get
with Rey and
I would
Finn.
always get it's the moon where the Death Star landed on that they visited in Rise of Skywalker.
Oh yeah.
I would get that part all
Yeah,
the
they had
time.
that for Rise of Skywalker where you drop it in the water.
Yeah.
But yeah, so now we're experiencing something interesting now, where the one thing that this had above Millennium Falcon's great, but the planet you go to is Kessel. Only a few people know Kessel. It's in one movie, okay? Or not Kessel, Corellia. My bad. So you go into Corellia. I love Corellia. It's great. But most people, they don't know Corellia. They don't know Hondo Ohnaka. They don't know these people. Where they can go on Star Tours, see C-3PO, they know C-3PO, they know R2-D2, and they know the planets they're going to because they're in the movies. Way more in the movies. So,
Yeah.
with the update happening to Millennium Falcon next year, same time the Mandalorian movie comes out, you are going to be able to go on the ride with the Mandalorian flying next to you, okay? And you're going to be able to choose what planets you're going to. So Star Tours had the movie stuff, and now they're adding that to Millennium Falcon. You're going to be able to go to Endor, Bespin, all this original trilogy stuff. So, I don't know. Star Tours might be coming to an end here, just because they're able to change Millennium Falcon now, because it's in the same. They kind of went through the same process
Yeah.
of being one thing, and then they're like, "Oh, we can change it to the movie stuff." So I don't know. I love Star Tours.
I mean, you're my
hate for it to get closed.
You're my only source of info on the Star Tours to Millennium Falcon news. But yeah, I feel like what they're kind of doing is they're just turning Millennium Falcon into the new version of Star Tours. Like, if you're gonna be able to go to all these planets, especially the ability to choose, sounds sick. I just don't see the point in needing.
Yeah.
At this point, kind of like a lesser version of that now. But I also like, man, you can't get rid of Star Tours. Like, the Star Tours IP is so Disney, like, you know, it's so infamous, so infamous with the park. I'd be curious to see what they end up doing.
And for a long time, like, that was the most immersive thing. Like, before Star Wars Land, that was the most. You're in the Star Wars galaxy, like, just traveling to these different planets. Like, that was the most grounded you could kind of get with that stuff. But it's just interesting. I don't know what'll happen to it now. Because, I mean, I'm glad they did the Disney Plus promotions. I think those were good. You know what I mean? Like, it kind of blew my mind. Like, every time I'm on the ride and I see Ahsoka live action on that ride, I'm like, this is crazy. Like, this would have blown my mind as a kid. You know what I mean? To see Ahsoka on a ride like this. But I don't know what the runtime is going to be. Because also, it's going to be a pain to remove. Because of the motion vehicles. You know what I
But
mean?
they might not even remove it. They could just replace it with something new Tomorrowland, you know? It'd be nice for it to go to Star Wars Land, but, I mean, Disney just does not have the money to do that right
True.
now.
They did add those changes, too.
I mean...
But I don't know. It's tough. Because it's one of those tough rides.
Yeah. My main problem with Star Tours is there's just so many planets you go to now, and some of them are just awful. Just like Crate. God, I can't go there anymore. I really
fine. They just
cannot...
overdid it for a few years.
For a few, like... I mean, dude, you go on it, like, you could go on it 3 times in a row, just crate.
Right.
I'm sick of Crate. The whales, awesome. What's that one planet where, like, you're rocking back and forth in the water?
That's the Death
What's
Star
that
one I was talking about.
I hate that one.
One of my favorites.
I get it every
Why'd
time. I get it every time. Sorry, I didn't mean to yell.
But yeah, I don't know. I think the endings are what kind of stopped changing as much, too. Like, they did add, like, the ghosts and stuff, which was cool for the beginning. But the ending, like, I feel like I used to get the Naboo one more. Like, I feel like there's just a lot
I
of
get the Naboo one all the time.
randomness kind of stuff. Well, the Naboo one where it, like, crashes through and it breaks the windshield. You know what I mean? At the end.
Have you guys ever been the
cool
spy
variation
or the
too.
rebel? You guys ever gotten that?
No,
I think, like,
sadly
twice.
not.
I never have.
Brody, you've been it twice?
Over the years, I'm pretty sure. Like, I remember getting it at least once.
His
but I would think with how many
his
times I've been
sample
on
size though, Austin, is probably like triple R's in our defense.
Right.
Like it's
That is
probably
very
like
true.
triple R.
That is very true.
But originally, it was gonna be Darth Vader saying that you have rebel plans, and George said to change it to be a spy, just so that it would work, no matter where you go. But yeah, the whole timeline on the ride it doesn't make sense at all, and they kind of just said, forget it, you're gonna have fun, and I think that's kind of where Batuu is going and Star Wars Land's going. At first, they were like, oh, we can't put the Mandalorian in. We don't know if the Mandalorian survives to this point. Then it's like, no, people love the Mandalorian. Like, just have him there. And then if you need to change it later, you can change it.
People rather have a cool IP
kinda how it
that they recognize over theming that makes sense in their fake Disney timeline.
Exactly. That's why Luke's there now. It's like he's kind of dead in the timeline at that point. But we have like young Luke now doing meet and greets, and it's like, yeah, just favor like the fan stuff. You know what I mean? But I don't know. We'll see what happens to Star Tours. I don't know. Would you guys say this is a? What'd you say? Glow up?
Glow up or throw
Or
up?
throw up. Yeah.
Throw up.
It's a...
Glow up.
Really?
No, I'm just kidding. Glow up. It's a glow up. I love Star Tours. Star Tours is my favorite Disney rides.
It's a...
one of my most nostalgic.
Yeah.
I go on Star Tours all the time still.
It's my
'Cause
favorite
there's no
ride as a
way.
kid.
Whenever it's
I
raining,
think
I just find
it's a
myself
glow
on
up to a certain point. Like, now they've added so much IP that it's kind of just like, bro, come on. I just think there's just so much. Like,
But
there's
I
too
don't
much.
know, because it's the only ride that they can change like this. You know what I mean?
That is true.
Like I'm a huge Andor fan. I'm a huge Ahsoka fan. Like all this new Disney Plus stuff. So being able to go on a ride like that, and it has low wait times, and I just see Cassian Andor in the middle of it, and I'm like, this is awesome. You know what I mean? Because there's never going to be a Cassian Andor ride or something like that.
Well, that's
So it's a very
okay. I want to
unique
bring something up here, Brody. You are also the outlier here. You know, you've watched
true.
all the most of the Star Wars things. I haven't, and you know, I think a lot of people listening also have not. And I just think it doesn't go to the audience of just a casual Star Wars fan. Like, I met someone the other day who's never seen a single Star Wars movie. Not one. Not a single one. There's so many people that go to Disneyland that probably don't know the Ahsoka show, don't know. They've got to know the Mandalorian. Everyone
knows the
mom
Mandalorian.
has seen the Mandalorian.
Right?
I
But
mean,
Mandalorian
God.
just has a hologram. He doesn't have a planet thing.
I
Yeah,
mean,
man, so he's not
maybe
even a big
soon
part
we'll
of
go,
You guys
we'll go
know-
to a planet.
You guys know
but-
Austin Butler
Hold on,
is
Mike.
playing Jabba the Hutt's son in the Mandalorian movie?
It's not Austin Butler. It's the guy from The Bear.
Oh,
Oh,
sorry,
the
no,
guy
you're
who
right.
plays the chef
You're
in The
right.
Bear?
It's Jeremy Allen White.
Yeah.
It's Jeremy Allen White.
He's
Sorry.
playing.
Are you serious?
Sorry, you're right, Brody.
Yep.
That's correct.
He's playing Road to
Yeah,
the Hut.
he's
from
gonna
the
be
Clone Wars
ripped.
movie.
He's gonna be freaking shredded.
Dude, there's one shot of him leaked, and he's shredded in this gladiatorial arena.
He's gonna just.
I'm so
beat
hyped
the-
for that movie.
Beat the,
But yeah, I don't know.
beat
It's
the,
like
beat the crap out of
50-50.
Mandalorian.
Because like you're saying with the casual fans, like you get the benefit of like, oh, Millennium Falcon, everyone knows that, but nobody knows the planet you're going to or the person on it other than Chewbacca. Or you get the benefit of people know the planets, but the only character there is C-3PO, and you don't know the ride vehicle. You're you're with 40 other people. So I don't know. It's stuck at a weird point where it's separated from Star Wars Land and all that, but.
So,
it's
when
cool.
Disney redoes Tomorrowland, would you guys be extremely upset if they got rid of Star Tours?
Yes.
I
Really?
would.
Yep.
Any less Star Wars, there's never enough.
Well, I'm gonna play devil's advocate here. It doesn't fit. It does not fit.
Why?
It's in. We have Star Wars Land. I would love for Disney to move it, but it just doesn't fit at all.
Yeah, but
But it
like,
doesn't even
what
need
if
to
I
move,
want a little bit
because it's
of?
just
What
a
if I want to
spaceport.
taste a little bit of Star Wars, but I don't want to walk all the way over to the Galaxy's Edge? What about that?
Then you know
What
what?
about that?
We're gonna get you a motorized scooter, dude, and we're gonna take you to Star Wars Land.
But
Okay,
like,
that's fine.
even at
Okay.
Tomorrowland, there's like so few
That's fine.
rides.
That's a fun compromise,
You know what I
actually.
mean? But like, I don't know. I think it's fine there just because of the spaceport theme. But
I think so too.
I don't know. Like, it's a tough thing. Like you're saying, Tomorrowland's always been tough. What is the future? so that's why they kind of started leaning into sci-fi. But no, it's just like it is just IPs. It's Buzz Lightyear. It's Star Tours.
Yeah, I mean they have
Monsters,
a hard time with
Nemo.
Tomorrowland.
They have the laugh floor
Nemo.
over there in Disney World.
True.
Well, guys, do you have any last thoughts on Star Tours before we sadly end this podcast?
No, I like it.
Please stay with us. Please don't go. I need your Star
Well,
Tours.
folks, that's gonna do it for this wonderful ride review. You know, it's been a little unhinged. It's a little unhinged monorail. And thank you for joining the E-Ticket Talk. Thanks for surviving. I mean, joining us. If you laughed, argued with your car speakers, or violently nodded in agreement while holding a Mickey pretzel, go ahead, follow, subscribe, smash, give us a 5-star review on wherever you're watching.
Notifications bells, please, people.
100%.
You gotta hit that notification bell.
Nothing.
You have to.
And not just sometimes notifications. We want all of the notifications, guys. All of them. But we'll send positive vibes your way and maybe a little virtual churro. Maybe one day we'll send you a real churro. But we don't got that kind of money yet because you didn't turn on notification bell. Sadly. All right, well, next week we're going to kick off a brand new series. I have no idea how to say this. It's like
Parkitects.
Thank you. This is where we're going to
Parkitect.
put our Imagineering hard hats on and a little armchair Imagineering, as Wyatt would put it. And we're going to make our way through every single land. Not just in Disneyland, not just in Disney World, but international as well. And first up, we have the land of broken dreams, as we were just talking about, Tomorrowland and Disneyland. So, thanks for hanging out with us. We'll see you really soon. Hopefully, somewhere between the rope drop and the fireworks. You guys have a good one.